once again, it is I, Brett Sieber, aka Mr. Brett of the Three Rivers Park District, a naturalist located at the Lowry Nature Center in the land of 10,000 lakes. That's right, Minnesota. Now today, we are back once again with our friends at Tierney to bring you some amazing science content on the largest and oldest living things on the planet. Now you're probably thinking, all right, well hold on now. Whales are pretty big, but I don't know how old they get. Well, there's those giant like Galapagos tortoises that like 200 plus years. They live a long time, but there's things that are bigger than that. What we're talking about isn't actually an animal. Wait a minute, living things that aren't. Yeah, trees. Trees, tallest, largest, oldest living things on this planet. Here's a picture of me next to a redwood tree that was 1,000 years old out in California. When I stood next to it, my whole body was just in awe of the amazingness, the sheer size, how long it had been there. Blew me away. Today, we're going to talk all about trees, why they're important, what we use them for, and of course, we're going to head out into your yard and neighborhood in search of the trees that you might find there. Alright, so before we get into all the reasons trees are important and what we use them for, I think we should first figure out what makes a tree a tree. And for that, you get to play along at home. I need everyone to work their way down to the ground, crouch down into this position. You have now become a tree seed, and you are waiting in the soil all winter long. And as the temperatures warm up, the snow begins to melt, and the water trickles down into the soil, and things start to happen. I want you to start wiggling your toes. Those are your new roots slowly starting to come out of the seed, trying to find a place for it to stay put. And now you've got it. And you can start drawing water up from the soil. And as that happens, your trunk slowly, your stem begins to emerge from the seed. And it is that stem that's going to carry the water from the ground all the way out to your newly forming branches. And once your branches are out, it is time to make food. So, pop! Out come the leaves, and they're going to collect sunlight, mix it with the water, and make food. In order to be a tree, you need roots, a stem, branches, and leaves. Now that we know what they look like, let's get into why they're important and what we use them for. Alright, so if you're like me, just standing next to a tree is something that's kind of neat. Now, it can be really huge and you're thinking about, oh my goodness, how old is a tree? Or it could be really teeny tiny. Think about, man, oh man, I wonder how long this tree is going to live. Besides just the outwardly amazingness of trees, man, they are super important to the animals on this planet. Many animals will call a tree home. Animals like squirrels use trees for homes. Animals like raccoons use trees for homes. Even animals, now remember, I'm a naturalist, not an artist. If you feel the need to giggle, it's okay. Animals like insects also call trees home. Now, these very same animals that use the tree for a home will also use it as a source of food. Trees make seeds, many of which are eaten by the animals. If you're that squirrel, acorns from the oak tree are hugely important to you. You're like, well, hold on, Mr. Brett. I don't eat acorns. No, but do you eat apples? Right? Apples came from a tree, as do so many of the foods that we as humans eat. Now, lastly, just take a moment, take a deep breath in, go. Oxygen. Oxygen is made by the trees along with other plants, and without it, we as a living thing could not live. So from homes to food to oxygen, I mean, trees, amazingly important. And as humans, we use trees for so many other things, and we're going to talk about that next. Alright, so as people, trees are hugely important to us. Yes, the food part is a big deal. And yeah, the oxygen, we couldn't live without it. However, we use trees for so many other things in our daily life. Of course, wood used to be part of a tree. And we use wood to build homes in so many of our buildings because it is so strong. It's such a great building material. We also make things like bags. out of paper. Bags that we can hold stuff in. Paper, of course, is made from trees. And other things that are made from paper that are made from trees. Cardboard boxes that we hold our food in. Paper that came from a tree. Of course, just paper itself that you can draw on or write on. And if you're going to draw or write on it, you might need a pencil. And the pencil, you're like, well, that's not paper. No, but it's made out of wood. And wood, of course, comes from trees. That's right. You want to read a book. Guess what? The book made out of paper that came from a tree. If you've got a little bit of downtime, you can put together a puzzle. Puzzles are made out of cardboard that came from trees. You've got a runny nose. Guess what? Kleenex. Also paper. And probably the most important paper of all, toilet paper. How different would your life be without this or any of these things? I mean, from the boxes where we have food to the books that we like to read, all of it comes from paper, which we used trees to make. I want you to think just for a moment how many different ways you use trees in a given day. It might be paper. It might be food. It could be any number of things. Without trees, our life would be entirely different. I think we have spent enough time inside. I think it's time we go outside in search of trees in your backyard. All right, so now we are outside. It is almost mid-April in Minnesota. We've had snow flurries today, so don't let the calendar really give you any indication as to what weather to expect here in our state. Up next, I have some challenges to you. Can you find the trees I am describing? Can you find a tree that still has fruit on it from last year? This is a crab apple tree in my yard, and I'm guessing that soon the robins and or the cedar waxwings will be here picking what's left of the fruit off for food. All right, so can you find a tree that if you use just your hands, you can make it go all the way around? Now this one I can't quite, but if I wrap my arms around it, absolutely. Next challenge, can you find a tree so big around that your arms won't even wrap all the way where your fingers can touch? So behind me is a massive sugar maple tree. I mean, just standing next to it, I feel so tiny. If I try to even put my arms around it, it doesn't even come close. Man, I love trees. Lastly, can you find a tree that instead of leaves has sharp, pointy needles like this spruce tree? Well, that'll do it for today's lesson. Thanks for joining me to learn all about trees. If you are looking for more information on the Three Rivers Park District, you can go to our website. If you're looking for more content to go along with today's lesson, you can visit Tierney's website. My name is Brett Siebert, and until we see each other again next time, get outside.